Choose your team, red or blue. Multiplayer is such an important part of gaming that one of the biggest franchises in gaming history isn't even including single player in its newest title, foregoing it entirely to focus on the bread and butter, multiplayer. The biggest games in the world are all multiplayer, from Dota and League to Fortnite, Hearthstone, and World of Warcraft, Overwatch, and Garry's Mod. People play together or against each other on balanced, equal teams to try to defeat the other team in a test of individual skill, game sense, and teamwork. Except a new trend is showing up in gaming: asymmetrical multiplayer. And it's been around for a while. No longer is it a red versus blue, taking the skins of your Halo Master Chief clone and adding a different paint job. No, today's asymmetrical multiplayer adds entirely different gameplay, giving you different objectives, different tools, and sometimes completely different games. Friday the 13th is the new bad boy on the block, and it's incredibly popular, with a fresh take on the genre. Let's take a step back before we look at Friday the 13th and take a look at some of the most influential games that have led us to this one. It's hard to say for sure, but the first asymmetrical game is probably 1982's Nautilus, a game where one player controls a submarine trying to retrieve power cores, and the other player controls a destroyer attempting to destroy the submarine, while also repairing the buildings that the submarine is attacking. But the first asymmetrical game most people will remember is 1999's Alien vs. Predator, a three-sided multiplayer extravaganza pitting colonial marines against predators against aliens, and each side played differently. Aliens could wall climb and jump across the entire map, had devastating melee, and there was even a life cycle mode where you started as a facehugger and had to grow to get stronger. Predators would stealth around invisible and then fire out discs of instant death, and Marines had hugely powerful weapons and motion trackers. Around the same time, you had Gloom for Quake 2, an Alien vs. Marines game mod where you would build and expand your base, spend points from combat to enhance your character, while trying to take out the enemy team. This was a direct influence on Natural Selection and Natural Selection 2, which added in a third gameplay mode as the commander in a real-time strategy-esque mode. Later, you would have Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, which took this concept and added in stealth objectives where killing the enemy team either isn't desired or isn't possible. Even VR titles would get in on this, such as Mass Exodus, where one player is in VR and the other is not, and your goal is to pick the enemy out of the crowd, or Eye in the Sky, which took that same idea but made it cooperative. And, of course, there's always Counter-Strike, which charges teams with either defending or planting a bomb, though in the need to be competitively viable, much of the asymmetry has been toned down. Finally, though, we're left with one of the biggest and baddest asymmetrical games ever to be released, Left 4 Dead, including a multiplayer versus mode where some players are zombies while other players are the human characters attempting to escape. Left 4 Dead introduced asymmetrical multiplayer to the masses in a way very few games ever have. And it's this game's DNA that we want to follow. See, the developers of Left 4 Dead were not Valve, but Turtle Rock Studios, who had taken their experience working on Counter-Strike and decided to make something way more asymmetrical, and as it was so popular at the time, they would add zombies, taking specific influence from 28 Days Later. After Left 4 Dead's success, Turtle Rock was purchased by Valve, key members were reassigned, and the studio was shut down. But the founders wanted to keep going independently, so they refounded Turtle Rock and started working on a new game, Evolve. Evolve was the logical next step for asymmetrical multiplayer. We'd played games where you were evenly matched but had different objectives or game styles, and we'd played games where a horde of monsters were trying to take out a small group of survivors. But in Evolve, a team of powerful hunters would attempt to kill a single lone monster. It would take from Gloom's DNA and give you points to upgrade your character, and take from Left 4 Dead in that you'd have a core team of 4 human players versus the monsters, and a pinch of Alien vs. Predator's life cycle, growing from a small, weak enemy into a towering behemoth with massive powers. In fact, take Evolve and simply switch a few things around. Instead of having 4 powerful hunters trying to take out a slowly improving monster, then battling ferociously against overpowered odds in the final battle, once that monster has fully grown, pit 4 weak teammates against a single powerful enemy that is hunting them instead. Friday the 13th does exactly that. And most interestingly, it also adds single player back into the mix as well. What was the first asymmetrical multiplayer game that you enjoyed playing? Maybe it was a Wii U game, using the gamepad to play against your friends on controllers, or maybe it was one of the ones I mentioned. Let me know your story. Tell me how you found this type of game, and tell me a story about your favorite times. I remember playing AVP with my friends in huge lands and loving the quick movement of the alien. If you liked this video, leave a like and share it to everyone you know. Everyone, leave no friend unshared to. If you didn't, then don't, but if you did, you can watch another in the corner right now, and as always, we'll see you on the next one.